Welcome to Quilting on the Side, the podcast for quilters who are building a business while juggling real life.
I'm Tori from Hey Tori, a quilter, past pattern designer and teacher, and now a digital marketing coach for quilting entrepreneurs.
And I'm Andi from True Blue Quilts, long arm quilter, pattern designer, and quilting instructor.
Between the two of us, we've taught workshops, launched programs, joined summits, and stayed up way too late trying to finish one more quilt binding.
On this show, we're sharing what's worked and what hasn't in our interviews from incredible guests, everyone from quilting solo business owners to CEOs.
So if you're running a quilting or creative business or dreaming about starting one, you'll find real talk, honest strategies, and a whole lot of support here.
So grab your notebook, grab your pen, and let's dive into another episode of Quilting on the Side. Welcome to another episode of Quilting on the Side. We are so glad you are here, and we appreciate all of our listeners, all of our Patreon BFF hustlers, and all of you who take the time to leave a review. It really helps us out. And the topic for today, let's dive right in, Tori, is holiday planning and how we can set our businesses up for success in the end of the year kind of craziness that goes on.
Yes, Black Friday is coming, and not only just Black Friday, but Black Friday. And I wrote about Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday. So there's a couple of opportunities where you could take advantage of these sale days to get some business, some profit, at least some revenue coming through the door. I went ahead and wrote down a few like pros and cons when it comes to participating with a sale like Black Friday, and I wanted to see if Andy had like feedback things to add to this. So one thing is during this time, anytime between like October to Christmas time, our audience is primed to buy. Like we've almost been conditioned, I might say. It sounds kind of manipulative, but it feels like we've been conditioned to look for sales around Thanksgiving and the Christmas time, and even around Halloween now, since things have a lot of the big box stores, a lot of the bigger brands, they've started to advertise Black Friday and big sales even like around Halloween. So you start seeing this up to Black Friday. Our Black Friday sale is starting a week before Thanksgiving, a week before Black Friday, or 2 weeks before Black Friday. It's like, is that really a Black Friday sale then? Then like Black Friday has come to mean more than just a day. So I think we can kind of use that to our advantage though. So that's one positive I found about having a sale or selling something during the last quarter of the year, is that our audience is primed to buy. And with quilters, we're typically inside again. So we're not outdoors. It's getting colder. We're inside. We're creating warm, fuzzy things. We are creating Christmas presents. So we're in the flow of creating and quilting and looking for opportunities to buy not only gifts, but things for ourselves. And do you have anything to add? Because I have a few more, but I wanted to see if you had anything that brought to mind.
Yeah, it really has. I agree with what you're saying. It has really become a season of selling. And I know part of that is that businesses, are trying to be profitable in this season and to get people in the doors with those sale days that extend. We all know about we're in the fall season. We just had Labor Day. The Labor Day sales started, you know, several days before, and they extend half the month, it seems, until they can find another big holiday to tag on to their sale flyers. But I agree, it does put people in the mindset of spending money, and whatever we can do to play to ride those coattails or to be the counterpoint. You can take whatever feels right for your business, whether you're having a sale or whether you're going into the, hey, let's slow down and avoid all that commercialism and chaos. You can take advantage of either perspective.
I agree, and that's actually one of the cons I wrote down was that you're just gonna feel pressured to sell, and then, some other positives about Black Friday is you typically do get an increase in sales, so if you do participate, it's a great way to get rid of old inventory, so if you have patterns sitting on your shelves that you've been dying to get rid of, might be a good time to try a sale and see if you can get those off your shelf. Same thing with fabric. You've got some fabric sitting there. You might be able to do like some bundles or something to help get those off the shelf. And we do have some ideas and suggestions here in a minute on what to do for Black Friday and some cons. So, like Andy said, some cons is you just feel pressure. There's so much pressure to sell. I keep saying sell to sell geez, I did it again. But, around this time, like, and sometimes I make the decision, I'm not gonna do anything sale-wise during this time period, but by the time I get to the week before Thanksgiving, I'm like, "Why don't I have a sale?" "Oh, let me try this type of thing." I fall to the pressure almost every year, and I feel like that's a con because you're not prepared. You haven't been planning this out. So if you have a plan now, which is something we're gonna get into, it's a lot easier to save your time, your mental space, your energy to actually run a sale rather than feeling like you're jumping in at the last second. Another con is, like Andy said, like competition is what I would call it, like competition from the larger brands. So competition from larger brands could be a con. So like they're pushing a lot of ads, they're pushing a lot of content. They have entire teams devoted to getting their sales out there on TV, on advertising, on um, social media, and everything that you could think of. They are pushing, 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 and it may drown out what you're trying to do.
Yeah, it does feel a lot of times like there is so much noise, how are we gonna break in? But I like your point of if we plan now, if there's a little bit of a lull here when kids are back to school, we can take a breath before that bam, bam, bam of the holidays that just kind of snowball through. When we're too busy to actually get something done in the moment, if we plan ahead and put some things in place, then it makes the whole thing much smoother because we do want to have that balance between running the business and participating in our family life and the community at large.
Definitely, definitely. And so another con to participate in Black Friday is typically you may see a drop in profit. So you may see revenue coming in, but you're paying for those products to get out. You're paying for shipping, you're paying for your business, and you may not see a lot of profit because you are offering bundles, sales, things like that, where there's not necessarily a lot of opportunity for profit for yourself. And then another thing to consider is supply and demand. So, whatever you do want to promise for a sale on Black Friday, you do have to deliver. So, if that's live courses, you need to make sure you have the energy to deliver those live courses. If it's products, you need to make sure you have the time and the energy to package those up and get them to the post office. So just keeping in mind supply and demand. We always want to plan for things to blow up. You never know, they might. So you always want to make sure that you have the bandwidth or you have somebody who can help you complete these orders if needed. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And I think I added it to a con list because it's not something we always think about is our energy level. We think, oh, I've got, the weekend before Thanksgiving. We're not traveling. All I have to do is cook. And I think I'll have time to like complete these orders, or I'll have time to plan out this worksheet that I need to complete before I actually deliver this workshop that I promised them. And that time is just gone because you're busy doing things that you weren't planning for. So again, when we talk about planning ahead, things like that can help. But you do want to make sure you have the bandwidth to support the sale that you want to push forward. And then I have a few suggestions for Black Friday sales, but I wanted to pause and see if Andy had any cons that she might add to trying to sell during this Black Friday rush.
I think a lot of it is you mentioned the profitability, and you really need to look at your numbers. And there's a little bit of of FOMO going on that, I'm missing out, or I need to be having a sale of, 40 or 50% off in terms of, even to make it worthwhile for the customer. But if that doesn't cover your costs, why are you giving away your product and your time eh, for nothing? If you're taking a loss on that, just take a step back and enjoy the weekend with your family rather than pushing for a sale that's not truly not going to add anything to your bottom line. So, just participating in the marketplace, yeah, it can make you feel like a business, but if you're not getting any of the profit out of it, then it really is not serving you well. So take a critical eye, take some of the emotion out of it. We're all about numbers instead of the emotions. So make your decision that way. And yes, we understand that sometimes, especially in your first few years in business, you may need to use those loss leaders. You participate in events where you may barely break even just to get your name out there and establish your customer base. Grow that email list, make sure you're setting up ways for continued contact with people. But yeah, I'm excited to hear some of the plans that you might suggest.
My main suggestion kind of follows what you're talking about, and it's to not my main suggestion, but one of them is to host a small percentage off. So like Andy said, don't go 50-60%. That's insane for small businesses to even do. I'm talking like 10 to 15%, maybe free shipping. Maybe if you're a long arm or offering a service, maybe free batting with the next quilt, or buy one get one where they get free batting the next time. So that way you can this is sustainable. You have a with the buy one get one, you're going to get two quilts, whether the quilt is coming now or quilt is coming later during the part of the year when Christmas craziness is over and you now have space to actually accept other quilts. They can send in a quilt because they know they have that deal coming, and they're like, hey, I got my coupon for the free batting. Here's my second quilt with the free batting, things like that. So you want to keep in mind that when you're doing those sales, to, like Andy said, make it sustainable for your business. Don't take a loss just for a sale. And one of the main things I want to like scream to the void, or if I could yell at you, I would, but I can't. This is a podcast. I'm not going to yell at you. But what I would strongly suggest is that you use what you already have for a sale like this. Do not go out and create a brand new product, a brand new suite of offers, a brand new workshop during this time. And I mean this time as in like the Black Friday sale craziness. If you're already planning a quilt along and you have the bandwidth, you're already starting to market it, you're putting out little peaks of like Christmas is coming, we're putting something big together. That's great. Building that up over the next, because right now it's September, so building it up over October and then releasing it in November, that's going to be fine. But if you decide in November that you want to create a brand new workshop, a brand new product, it's going to be harder. It's going to be an uphill battle to get eyes on your marketing because of all the traffic and the noise that everybody will be creating around that time. So if you already have something in the works, that's great. Keep it going. Do a lot of content because there's going to be a lot of content that's going to be overshadowing yours. But do not go out in November and try to create a new product to sell for Black Friday. It's not going to go as easy as it would be any other time of the year. Now, that being said, like Andy said, look at your numbers. So what product do you have on hand that sells well, that your audience already likes, they already know, that would be easy, and there's the key here, easy for you to put on sale. So a sale might look like, we've mentioned bundling. So bundling patterns, bundling workshops, buy one, get one, if it's feasible for your business, or buy one, get one 50% off. Like sales like that, where it's easy for you to put together, you already have systems in place to deliver those. And it, again, makes it easy for you. And your audience already knows it's there. So you don't have to work on all the pre-launching. You still want to pre-launch. I will say you still want to push the content out and you still want to talk about it a lot during this time, but you already have an audience who knows it's there. So it's not like a brand new introduction to, hey, something new. Here's all the information about it because you've never heard about this before. It's like, hey, your favorite patterns are now bundled together in a pack of 3 that you can get for 15% off and get them now so you're ready to make them for Christmas or give them away to your quilting besties at Christmas, like things like that.
Yeah, I
You
love
can
that idea of bundling that really makes it easy to get things out there. Um, and yeah, we could brainstorm tons of other ideas, but the big thing that I want to push and saying out loud, it holds me accountable as well, is to take the time now to choose just a couple things, no more than 3 things, and decide how you are going to do that marketing. Choose, one special little graphic that you're gonna do. Make 10 12 different Instagram posts, things that you can schedule out. Get those scheduled now while you have free time. And then it happens. Whatever life throws at you in November, you've already done the work and your sale is going to happen. So that takes a lot of the stress off of things, is to get as much done ahead of time. Write the emails announcing that in another idea I had, especially for that Black Friday through Cyber Monday weekend sales period, is the idea of a progressive sale. So, and this kind of goes along with the bundle item. Like the first day, everything in the shop could be 10% off. And then the second day could be a buy one, get one, or the third day could be all about bundles. So you have a different offer every day, and that gives you something new to talk about in your social media posts and your newsletters that you do want to be sending out every day. And this is a great time for affiliate marketing as well. So you want to research those Amazon deals ahead of time and try and get on those bandwagons as well.
I agree. I love the idea of a progressive sale. Like how you said, it builds on itself, or you can reveal it every single day and you can sneak peek it. Say there's 3 sales coming, but they're secret sales or something like that, where you can be like, hey, we're going to lift the curtain on day 1 and it's going to show this. And then the next, day 2 is going to be this, but you have to tune in to see what they're going to be. And they're going to be great. So make sure you look and like check in with our emails, check in with our social media so that you can see what is coming. And on the day, it's going to be a reveal. So it can be a big, excitable thing where you can build up to it. And that is a lot of like curiosity, curating curiosity, things like that. And like Andy said, and what I really want to dive into today is actually creating a simple system so that you have a system set up. That way you can schedule those emails ahead of time and you can set up your social media and get all those links in place before the holiday season. That way you can breathe easy, you can let the sale run and just keep an eye and make sure things are working while you're with your family. Okay, so let me see. Check my notes real quick. I think there was one more. Oh, there is one more. So one more option that I saw, which I thought was really smart, was to put some of your big events for the winter and the spring. So we're talking events that might be happening in January or February up until probably around like April, like somewhere in there, like January, April. You can put those big events as a sale, like early bird pricing as a Black Friday sale. So you are taking advantage of that time when it's prime to buy. You could take advantage of buy yourself something and get ready for the next year and use that marketing tactic to pre-sale what you're going to be doing in winter and spring. I
Yeah,
think summer might be too far out, but yeah, I'm thinking winter and spring.
I like that idea of pre-selling your 2026 offerings early. And I like to do that again. So set that up so you have it during the Black Friday sale season, but then make another push in that that lull between Christmas and New Year's, and that's when everybody really gets going and fills their calendar. So keep that in mind, that you have kind of those two periods where you can do a big campaign. And again, sketch it out, outline all your emails and things, and get those done early, because having things pre-scheduled just takes such a mental load off and can really make you feel much more successful when things run smoothly.
We've been talking about a lot about emailing. And I do
Mhm.
want to make a note that I get a lot of pushback when I talk about Black Friday sales. And Andy said email them every day. I get a lot of pushback when I talk to my clients about emailing every day around a sale. The reason, and one of the biggest reasons you want to do this during the Black Friday season, is because their inbox is being flooded. They will not see your emails. Even your favorite people will not see your emails just because of the amount of emails they're going to be getting. So I love the idea. Again, I shared about my Andy's idea. Loved it because of the cultivating curiosity when you're coming up to Black Friday and revealing what the sale is, because it encourages them, and you want to encourage them to look for your emails so they can scroll through and look for, if it's me, they're looking for Tori, where's Tori? Where's Tori's sale? I'm looking for Tori's sale. So they can zoom over Barnes and Noble and, Target, if you get Target at, like, because Target sends a ton of emails around Black Friday, and like, Best Buy, and I was gonna say Joann's, but they're not here anymore,
Right?
unfortunately. Um,
Michael's, Hobby Lobby.
yeah, and, like, they'll scroll past that so that they can look for your name specifically. So, that's, one thing I wanna talk about was email them more often, because they're not going to see your emails because they're being flooded by all the emails. Like, we like to think our customers are curating their inboxes, but the reality is more like they forget to unsubscribe until this time where they're being flooded with emails and they miss your email. And so you don't want that to happen. So even emailing them ahead of time in October, talking about you have a Black Friday sale coming, and to keep an eye out for your emails, because we're going to be releasing hints. Maybe for every single newsletter there'll be a hint, and we're upping our newsletter. You can even tell them we're upping sending our newsletter for the next couple months, just because we know that we don't want you to miss this. So even that strategy you can work out for your own business. The last thing I had written down was to pick a small project. So if you don't have a big project in mind, if you're like launching a quilt along like right now for Christmas, that is great. Keep doing that. If you hit November and you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to do something. So let's say you fall to the pressure, kind of like I do, like almost every year. Pick something small, a table runner project, a cute pillow, an ornament. There was a lot of ornaments last year. I'm really hoping that comes back, because those are gorgeous. They're easy. They sell really well. They're great presents. They're great for like all kinds of things. So pick a smaller project, and then I would focus it personally from the marketing trends that I've been seeing. Focus it on community. So doing something to get out of their own head, doing something with their hands, with other people, and make it about meeting together and doing this together, rather than complete this cool thing before Christmas. It's more like complete it with friends, make it community.
Yeah, and which is, you bring up a great point. If you can give your audience ideas for how they can involve other people, because I get together with some coworkers. We started all out in the same office, and we've kind of scattered different jobs, but we still get together a few times a year, and we come up with different craft ideas to do. So one day I took my sewing machine with me, and I took scraps of fabric to do those overlapping coasters. You know how you put the
Oh,
four pieces overlapping, and you just sew the edge and you can turn it, and it was just a small project, but everybody got a turn at the sewing machine, because you just have to go around the one little square and then it's done. And it just is a fun option. So if you can describe that kind of project. You can do a quick, sewing party setup list and give them instructions. And yeah, it really does get that aspect of, we are quilters and crafters because we like to make things with our hand, and we like to be in community, and tying into those feelings is a great marketing strategy. So
Oh, thank you. But it is because, like, and it's fun for you. That's another thing is that community projects are always so much fun when you get to actually be with other quilters, other crafters, and just have some fun. So that's always great. So what I would suggest, so 3 things to focus on over this next quarter. 1, because you are gonna be flooded, because we always are, even if we think we're not going to be. There's events, there's, family events, there's school events, there's, guild events, there's all kinds of events happening in the last quarter of the year, and I would really strongly suggest you focus on one launch. So whether that's one pattern, one big workshop, one quilt along, one, service sale, whatever you wanna do, I would focus on one big one and start marketing it, like, if you're listening to this episode right now, like, next week, like, plan it out and start talking about it next week. And the second thing is look at what projects you wanna complete before January 2026. So what projects? So these projects are typically could be things on the back end. So maybe you need to fix that page on your website that's been driving you crazy. Like I fixed one yesterday. I had this partner brand one that was all scattered, and like I couldn't get the text to line up, and the columns were all weird. So like I sat down and I was like, I have 20 minutes and this is on my list. I want to be fixing this. So little projects like that or bigger ones where you want to set up a funnel, a basic funnel to pull people through your maybe your lead magnet or things like that. Picking 1 or 2 projects before 2026. That way you are set up for the winter. Because one thing that we fall prey to, I don't know if that's the right
mhm.
expression here, is we get bogged down during this time and we forget to plan for 2026. So January and February just feel like this big rush after we just had an exhausting holiday season. We now have to rush to keep up or to make up for lost time when we had to take a break. So a lot of times we were forced to take a break when we pushed too hard through the holiday season, and then January comes and we're like, oh no, I don't feel like planning for this year. I don't feel like doing anything this winter. It just feels too exhausting after all of this. And this is one way to help keep your bandwidth in mind is to write down those 2, at least I would do 2. I wouldn't go even 3. I would do 2 big projects or medium projects or even small projects that you wanna get done before January. That way you're set up and aren't exhausted throughout the holiday season and exhausted for January, February.
Yeah, so through all of this, Tori and I have both been um, kind of pounding the idea of planning ahead, and really take, and it doesn't have to be a lot of stuff. It can be one thing that you just execute well, and it will set you up for success this holiday season. And I really like that idea of choosing something to share and promote in January and February. So again, we're always and I'm the worst at being the last minute throw it all together person, oh, hey, like you were saying, in November, I think I want to design a new Christmas quilt. That's just not a good way to behave. So I'm mending my ways, and I'm going to get it all done early, and we will be set up for success for the 2025 holiday season and the 2026 spring sewing events.
Now, if you do get inspired, I would write it down and then maybe save that for next year or Christmas in July, because
Mhm.
that could be another way to bring up. Because if you feel really inspired over Christmas and you're like, I have so many Christmas ideas, and you want to like actually get them out at a reasonable amount of time, you can come back around July and be like, Christmas in July. I'm bringing back all that Christmas inspiration I felt, and I'm pushing the sale now. But it gives you time so you can have. You can save your energy for what's happening in the moment and give yourself more time to get it ready for July and maybe even the next Christmas season, because you can bring those back around. I have a pattern that sells every holiday season, and I don't touch it. Like, it is set up, it is ready to go, and I am now talking about digital marketing and course design and a book and, like, the self-publishing incubator and all of this other stuff, and my pattern is over there selling on Etsy, like ding, ding, ding. It's like, oh, cool, look at that. Because that's all set up. I don't even have to talk about it. And I can just focus on what I need to focus on now and get that little boost in the November, December timeframe, which is nice.
Yeah, for
How about
sure.
that for you? Okay, so I was thinking, Andy, that we could set up because one of the things I wanted to touch on was how to create a system for your sale. And like I wanted to kind of do this live. I wanted to, and it might be a little messy, but I was thinking we could kind of work backwards. So we decide to host a sale, then what? And kind of go through what do you need to set up to make this happen?
Yeah, for sure. And before we dive into that system, I do want to remind everyone that if you join our Patreon community, you can come in to a live Q&A session where we do this type of planning with everybody, and everybody gets to share their idea. We brainstorm. I always leave with so many more ideas than I get on my own. So those events happen, Zoom calls, they're put out to our Patreon paid community, so, check out those plans at Quilting on the Side.
Definitely. And there's a link below where you can find that too, our Patreon. All right. So, Andy, what? So, give me an idea for something to put on sale for Black Friday.
I will go with my newest, set of Little Bit Different blocks, the Holidays Christmas sampler.
I got a whiteboard. So I know our people listening on the podcast won't be able to see the whiteboard, but it'll help me stay organized. Plus, you can go look at on YouTube if you want to see this.
Yep.
I'm trying to put it in the middle because sometimes when I edit these and we publish them, it cuts off the sides. So I'm going to try to. All right. So we got holiday rulers. Oh, no, blocks.
Yeah, holiday blocks.
Okay. So now we've decided what our sale is going to be. It's a set of holiday blocks. So, first thing, Andy, what do you typically do first? And I'll share what I typically do first. When you decide I'm going to put my holiday blocks on sale.
Um, I probably start with I start with Canva and my, uh, images, my sales images, whether it's gonna be pictures for the website or the graphics that need to go in my newsletter and on social media, so that's where I
All right.
start.
So you get straight to marketing. Okay, so you start with marketing. So what I would suggest is you start with the offer. So I would
Skip the
go and
step.
no, you could start anywhere you want, but my suggestion would be to go straight to the offer, the holiday blocks. How are people going to access that? So number one, you need to set up access. So if this is something that's already on your website, that could be already set up.
Mhm,
And that falls under our do it with ease, right? It's already set up. So whether it's a workshop, you want to make sure they can access the workshop. If you're bundling workshops, you got to figure out how am I going to bundle the workshop so that they can buy it and get both workshops without me having to go to my computer during Thanksgiving dinner and make sure they get the email
mhm,
or whatever it is. So you want to set up access for your offer. Access offer first is what I would
yep,
suggest.
yep.
Then the second thing is how do they get access to that? So the offer, right? And then once they pay, so maybe that's not the right way to say that. Should we start over?
Um, no, I think it is access, and then the second one is delivery.
Oh, that's
I
a good
think
way to
is
put it.
what you're getting at. You have to set up the access of the offer on the website. Like for me, with those holiday blocks, I need to make sure that that is a product in my online shop, and then I need to set up um, the delivery
Delivery.
stuff, the email sequence. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So then we have access offer. Then number two, we're going to deliver the offer. So you got to make sure they can get it again without you present. You do
Hmm.
not need to be present and manually be delivering this. So that could look like, and usually it looks like email, right? They get
Hmm.
emails to set them up. So you want to set up access and delivery. And then what I would do is the landing page. And the reason why I would do landing page before graphics is so that you can get your copy done. So the words that you want to use to describe this offer, use your landing page to build it out. So the landing page is where they're going to sign up, where they're going to get access, and where you're going to have it delivered to them. So having these three set is going to make it so much easier to start on your marketing, because then all you got to do is pull the details from the landing page. The landing page has the price, the landing page has the transformation, the landing page has how they're going to get it. It has everything. And so that is number 4 would be your content. Now, content could be emails, right? Your newsletters. Content
Mhm.
could be your social. Content could be, maybe because we're planning ahead, you now have time to go look at podcasts and be guests on podcasts. You now have time to look at how could you build this out a little bit more to get more attention. So it could be socials, emails, guesting with other people, whether that's a guest on their emails or their newsletters, or guesting on their
Mhm.
summits. Like Andy signed up for a bunch of summits that we're going to talk about soon
Mhm.
in a future episode. Guys, so curious about her summit experience. But you can actually look at, how can I push this content out now that you're planning ahead? And you already have the landing page set. So if something accidentally leaks, you have everything set up so they can go and get it.
Mhm.
Like, how easy is that? So that's what I would suggest, is once you figure out what you want to sell, 1, you create the access to it. 2, you create the delivery. 3, create the landing page. That way you can pull your wording, all your copy, into your content, which could be your emails, your socials, any guest stuff that you can do to push out this offer. And that'll make it a lot easier to help you plan backwards.
Mhm. And
What do
that
you want?
that idea of guesting, we've talked several times about collaborations, and that can be a great almost, we talked about some people that don't wanna participate in the sales stuff, but maybe you spend your November, uh, doing those guest exchanges where you introduce someone in your newsletter and they do the same for you. So it's not the sales content, "Hey, buy my stuff." It's more, "Hey, here's this new friend of mine and I really want you to get to know her." Tori, that was a great system. Thank you so much for helping me build out my offer of my holiday blocks. And you've got some other things that can help people if they're struggling with this type of marketing.
I do. So if you are interested in doing something for Black Friday, I am launching Back to Basics, where we're going to be helping you with generating leads. So we're growing your email list before you start offering the actual sale. So that's starting September 15th through the 20th is the sign up time. So you're going to be, if you're listening to this right when the podcast comes out, you have 4 more days to sign up. It's called Back to Basics. It's on my site. It's $45. It's a 6-week commitment, but I've broken it down into bite-sized chunks to help you set up a basic funnel to get leads on your email list. So that's what we're focusing on, is making sure that you have a lead magnet that is aligned with what you want to sell, and getting people on your list before you offer that sale.
Yeah, you gotta warm those people up so they're ready to buy. So that will be a great session coming up with Tori. Yeah, if you have any other questions for us, you can leave a comment. You can reach out to us via email, or just, message us on any of the social platforms where you run across our posts. And we thank you so much for being here. And here is to a great holiday season with lots of sales and lots of joy.
That's a wrap on today's conversation. We hope it gave you something real to take back to your business.
And if you liked this episode, please hit subscribe and leave us a review. It helps more quilters find the show and feel a little less alone on their entrepreneurial journey.
And if you want more support, from behind the scenes content to live chats, you'll find more in our Quilting on the Side community on Patreon. And as always, don't forget to do
A little
quilting
quilting on the side.
side.